Good afternoon. The afternoon of May 4th, 1:35 p.m. local time here. If you go by the captions on my first video, it's not 70 operations. Somebody messed up. It's 7, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I will start on July 21st of 2009. I had my first orthopedic appointment. And I had obviously torn a meniscus. The knee would lock when I go to stand up. It was causing all sorts of pain. So I go to orthopedics, and the first thing they do, oh, you have to have some physical therapy. So they put me on the bicycle, and it's torture. Clunk, 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 and everything else. And that didn't last too long, but so finally I got a consultation with an orthopedist. And he looks at it. Well, we can arthroscopically go in there, root around, and trim around what's torn and everything. We'll give that a shot. So we did that. And as a result of that, I was worse off than before I started. So upon having that results, they started to kick me around here, there, and everywhere else. They really didn't want to go in and replace the joint, but there was no way around that. So what happened? We went and we had that done, and the normal thing that I was used to was after the procedure, they send you to a skilled nursing facility for a week, 10 days to make sure there's no complications or whatever. But in this case, the doctor determined I was too good for that. I could get up and I could drag myself around. So they figured that was going to be a waste of time on their part. So they discharged me shortly thereafter. The only problem is, when I was still within the facility, I filed a complaint with CMS because I was denied this rehabilitation stint right after the operation. I put that in motion. And as a result of them letting me out too early, they let me out. It was either Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember which. I'd have to look at the calendar. But as a result of that, I was back in the emergency room 4 times. Now, since I was not ambulatory, they had to carry me down the steps. They had to carry me out to the ambulance and reverse the procedure when they got to the hospital. We did that 4 times. And the one time they were going to question they wanted to talk with the surgeon. It was 11:45 at night. And they determined that there was going to have to be a scan done to see if there was anything amiss. So what they decided, they called the surgeon, and he says, send him home, have him come back in the morning. So into the ambulance, back home, up the steps, into the house, and then we repeated the same thing the next morning at 8:30. And it was rather inconclusive what they did, examine for or whatever, so we go back, and they, like I said, the 4th time. On the 4th night, they had me in there in a room as far as it was off to the side, still within the emergency room, but I was with the spare beds and some other stuff. It was not the most pleasant facility. And when it came time to get me out of there, they just stood back and said, well, go ahead. So I walked from the emergency room to the entrance of the building without assistance. I called a neighbor. They loaded me in the car. They brought me home. So the interesting part is 42 days after they discharged me from the hospital, and I had already been in outpatient physical therapy, CMS notified me that I was eligible for the skilled nursing, which was at that point useless. So that was just the beginning. It got worse from there. I started to have issues within 14 months of the placement of the implant, and then that's where the fun began. So we will pick up at that on the next episode of this, and that is it. Have a pleasant day.